Hello friend. As believers and humans in general, you are expected to have a plan for your life, which can be subjected to the plan of God. While drafting a plan for your life and destiny, have the God kind of mentality. Many of you have given a thought to the plans you have put down for your life in few years' time. That is good. But can I ask you a question? Is it a myopic plan or a God kind of plan? The truth is this: when you have a small plan, you will have small achievements in life. Dear friend, don't limit your plans to your background, your family pattern, your financial status, or even your past. That has nothing to do with your life. So far, God is in the picture. Looking through the Bible, you will notice that whenever Jesus fed the poor, there was a geometrical increase in the quantity of bread and fish to the extent of having leftovers. Why did this happen? While Jesus prayed, he had a God kind of thought in his mind. He didn't project a small request to God. He wanted a jaw-dropping miracle from God, and it always manifested that way. I would like you to know this. Jesus didn't have that access because he was the Son of God. No, he did that among men so that all will know that whenever you make a request to the Father, let your expectations and thoughts look big. Coming down to your life, you may have great plans, but due to your financial status, you drafted a smaller one that won't cost much. You threw away greater opportunities because of the obvious incapability you have financially. That is not the thought of God towards you. Remember the popular verse in the book of Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11? It says, "The plans I have for you are of good and not of evil, to give you a hope and a future." Notice that God never said a small future, neither did he say a manageable one. Can you look at the plans you've made after thinking? Ask yourself questions like, is this aligned to the greatness living inside of me? Are my plans and thoughts going to be significant in the future? Can these thoughts stand the test of time? Having considered these questions, please give yourself a genuine answer. Beloved, I believe that there are prophecies over your life which points towards a great destiny. I know that there are visions and dreams you've had, just like Joseph in the Bible, that points you towards a bright future. You may have thought to yourself that those visions and prophecies are too big to manifest in your life. If that is your case, I encourage you to throw away that thought and recognize that God is the finisher of every good work he has started. He never created you to abandon you. In the book of Proverbs chapter 23 verse 7, the latter part of it says, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." You are the definition of your thoughts. Whatever you think can affect every aspect of your life. You cannot have a thought of poverty and average wealth and expect bountiful harvest from God. In fact, you gradually adopt a lifestyle of the poor. Rather, think like a wealthy individual and gradually adopt the appearance and mentality of the wealthy. There is a saying, think big and start small. Your humble beginnings should not affect the thoughts you have for yourself. It shouldn't derail you from aligning with the God kind of plan. The rising of any individual from obscurity to the limelight must follow a process. It takes time, but the goal is to manifest the great thought God has towards you. In case you've aligned your thoughts to that of God, do not allow your past failures limit you. Yes, your past mistakes can limit your thoughts and prevent you from taking a drastic step. Your past failures can interrupt your thoughts. Your past disappointments can influence your decisions to step down the magnitude of your dream. Do not allow that to happen to you. This was almost the case of the followers of Christ. Having toiled all day without getting a fish from the river, the book of Luke chapter 5 from verse 4 to 6, it says, and I read, "Now when he had left speaking, he said unto Simon, Launch out into the deep, and let your nets for a draught. And Simon answering said unto him, Master, we have toiled all the night and have taken nothing. Nevertheless, at your word I will let down the net. And when they had this done, they enclosed a great multitude of fishes, and their net broke." This was the experience of the followers of Jesus. They would have been void of a blessing if Simon had not thrown away that myopic thinking. Follow this verse properly. You will notice that Simon had a reason for his thoughts, which was genuine as a fisherman. He had caught nothing throughout the night, which might be because he came at the wrong time or he was stationed at the wrong side of the river. Who knows? That reason could be yours too. Your efforts in the past can be the basis for having a myopic thought. It might be genuine, but there is difference between then and now. God wasn't in the picture then, but he is obviously present now. Back to the Bible verse. Simon made a quick adjustment that brought him a miracle. He quickly threw away his thoughts and followed that of Jesus. You see, friends, sometimes when God comes into the picture, despite your genuine reasons and experience for having a small thought, you need to abandon those thoughts and go after the word of God. See how God sees and act how he acts. Simon Peter took a drastic step immediately. You may be in the same boat like Simon, and despite the mega thoughts God has dropped in your mind, you still bank on your own plans. Despite the visions and assurance you've received, you never took a step. Dear friend, I encourage you to take a step and adopt the mind of God so that you can experience a net-breaking future. Simon Peter had a net-breaking miracle that he had to beckon on his colleagues to help out in the catch. It didn't stop there. The sheep started sinking because the harvest was great. Listen, friend, until you adopt the thoughts of God, few or no individuals will benefit from your greatness. Most of the thoughts we have is not encompassing. It just focuses on our family, friends, and our neighbors. That is not the God kind of thoughts. God's thought is encompassing. Thoughts that can affect lives to the uttermost part of the world. Thoughts that will have positive influence in your generation. I believe you will like to go with God's thoughts and plans for you. Be mindful of this. Inasmuch as we have good and big thoughts, note that the thoughts of Lucifer, while being the archangel in heaven, brought him down to the ground from an exalted position. His experience explains that when you have an envious and wicked thought, God will take the little you have and leave you at an abandoned spot in order to learn the culture of humility. The remedy to having a myopic thought and also an envious thought is this: align your thoughts to that of God. Having in mind that God has a good thought for us as his children, you can make a request of inquiry and note the thoughts and plans of God for you. I believe God will definitely speak to you. He has you in mind. One thing that hinders the fulfillment of the God kind of thoughts is procrastination. Take out the thoughts you have with the available resources and God will multiply them, just the way he did when Jesus prayed on the bread and fishes. I will wrap with this. The Bible talks about some men sent from Israel who went to spy a land that God had promised them. They noticed that the occupants of the land were giants and also the city was fortified. That was enough reason to retreat. But two notable people, Joshua and Caleb, never opted for retreat. They had a God kind of thoughts and they followed it. God never abandoned these men and their descendants. In fact, the entire Israel benefited from the confession of these men. In the wilderness, the Israelites survived because their leaders followed the thoughts and plans of God for their life, not what is given to them by chance. Chance shouldn't be the bedrock of your decision and destiny. Have a God kind of thought from now on. Decide on it and let it manifest. Dear listeners, always know when to adopt the thoughts of God despite the obvious unfavorable situations. Always know when to adopt the thoughts of God despite the obvious unfavorable situation. Let God's thoughts be true and any other thought a lie. God is always right. So why not trust him? God bless you. If this video has blessed you, please like, subscribe, and share with someone.